Welcome to Newsmakers with Jim Relkin and his guests. Positive and progressive people from all walks of life making a difference.
Welcome to Newsmakers, this weekend edition, Saturday, March 15th. If you're in the Port Huron area, it's Parade Day, St. Patrick's Day weekend, even though St. Patrick's Day is a couple days off. So enjoy and be safe out there. Talk about being safe and healthy. Grant Smith is joining us today, local independent health insurance agent. He's been on Newsmakers before, giving us updates on healthcare, and we're going to learn more today, and we appreciate Grant coming in on this Saturday. Grant, welcome.
Hi, Jim.
Hey, when we met a couple of weeks ago, you had shared with me working an unbelievable number of hours. And why do you do that, other than the challenges? But why, as an independent health insurance agent, why do you work those many hours for your customers? There's more to it than the money. Why do you do this?
Well, I love what I do, and I love them calling me. It's a great honor to serve our local people. And the phone does ring.
And you've been doing it for a long time, 1978.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were sharing with me that your dad, who we dearly love because he was my sixth grade teacher, and we know he's watching today, is that he told you to go to work when you were born in 1955. So you've been at this a long time, working with the insurance business.
A tough guy.
Yeah, did he say, I want you to love something, and said, go do insurance?
He used to tell me, go play in the street.
Go play in the street.
Understood that.
And he insured you for it,
He
right?
loved me best when I was sleeping, especially when you're asleep.
Well, we got to put a salute to your amazing dad. You know, we've chatted about him before, but we'd be remiss if we just say a big salute to an amazing guy. He looks great, doing well, and even though you lost your mom this past year, we send out the best to your dad.
Thanks. Yeah, he appreciate that.
I'm still waiting on a final grade from my sixth grade class, so if he's just watching, you can mail it to me. I was hoping for an A.
No, he will.
We'll talk about an A. I mean, there's a lot of, for Canadian viewers, I was using that for have a little bit of fun with your dad, but there's a lot of issues out there yet with healthcare. So maybe in layperson's terms, kind of lay it out, where are things right now with the Affordable Care Act and what people are looking at and the kinds of calls that you get. So, in particular for people who are still really don't know what this is all about.
Sure.
So maybe, what is it all about? Let's start there. What is it all about?
Well, thing is, Jim, people are learning that there are great subsidies involved with the Affordable Care Act. And if they're making between $15,000 and $16,000, if they're in that area, about in the middle of there or below, they qualify for Medicaid, which is expanding April 1st. But if they're over that level, which is what we call 133% of the federal poverty level, up to 400% of the federal poverty level, you qualify for a subsidy. Now on a couple, that's $62,040. So if they're less than that, two people, they will qualify for money, for subsidies on their health insurance. In my office, I put down their dates of birth and so forth, and their and then they show us all of the plans in which they're qualified for in our local area, pricing them. Second thing I do is I estimate the subsidy. And people are shocked to find out oftentimes, especially in our area, we're not Grosse Pointe, so we have a lot of real people here.
Sure.
And they're trying to make it through with the money they have. So it's very important that they see the policies that are available to them and have someone connect the dots. And what my office does is that we connect the subsidy with the policy, put them together, get it done, and service the contract after it's sold. And people appreciate that because they tell me, geez, I went on the website and I've got everybody in the world calling me and you can't get anything done, and it's a mess. And they love the local service, and I love doing it. So it's a great arrangement.
Fair to say people, when they come in for the first time and they talk with you, probably pretty fearful, right? Pretty a sense of apprehension and not sure. And
it can be. I've been doing this for so long. This is my 36th year. So oftentimes people come in and I'll say, where did you find me?
Yeah.
And they'll say, well, you know, it's a referral. They might see a lot of advertising I do on radio and here and telephone directories I'm pretty prominent in, as people know.
Sure. Like first turn the page over, there's Grant Smith.
Yeah. But I've written so much insurance for so many decades that oftentimes they come in and they'll say 3 or 4 people have told me about coming to you, and I don't experience a lot of fearfulness.
Sure.
They're basically ready to be taken care of, and takes the pressure off of me too, because that's the last thing I want is somebody being afraid of what we're doing.
Sure, but there's a lot of apprehension as to what it's all about. I guess was my point that certainly your credibility and respect in the community is on question.
Yeah.
But I'm sure a lot of people that again kind of what's this all about? And
Yeah.
help me. So that's what you like doing the most, I guess. Is the point
Simplify
I'm
it.
trying to make.
You
Yeah,
take a
simplify it.
confusing, complicated subject, and you try to make it so the average person can understand it without all the insurance type language and lingo, and they appreciate that because they go, "Oh, I get it." Because if you're not in the insurance business, you should think, "Well, you don't even know the difference between a deductible or a premium or
Sure.
co-insurance or a copay." Well, if they're pretty healthy, and and they don't go to the doctor a lot, they don't pay attention to it, especially if they came from an employer group plan. It's just out there somewhere, or all of a sudden they're the buyer and they got to know. So I don't consider any question dumb.
Sure.
It's good questions and they need to know, and I'm glad to help.
Grant, the one example you gave of that income level, combined income level, so in your opinion, that's a good part of the Affordable Care Act.
Yes, and as they have different numbers of children, 1, 2, 3, 4, et cetera, the subsidies grow.
Okay.
You can have, with a family, you can be bouncing toward $100,000 and still obtain subsidies. People don't know that.
Okay.
And you can be in the mid-40s range as a single person and still get subsidies. And sometimes a lot of times people will opt for the lowest premium policies with higher deductibles, and then they can fill some of those deductibles with ancillary products that the private health insurance business can sell on top of Obamacare, and oftentimes find it more affordable than store-bought. I call it store-bought policies with higher premiums and perhaps lower out-of-pocket costs. It's a creative way of solving a lot of the problems with critical illness policies, personal accident insurance policies. They do a heck of a job, and people are amazed at how inexpensive the whole thing can end up being. And I'm delighted to show them and take care of them.
You share a passion for this work. We're going to take a quick break with a passion for one of our great sponsors, the Blue Water Television Network, our friends at Port Huron Hospital, also in the healthcare business, taking care of our community and great at doing that. We'll be right back after this break with Grant Smith to learn more. Stay with us. Welcome back to our weekend edition on this Saturday, March 15th, talking about healthcare and with Grant Smith today, learning a lot, again, what it means to you, what it means to our community, to our country, and so let's go right back to Grant. Grant, other services that you provide, again, as you're looking for new customers or serving your current customers, what are some of the other, do you call them products or services or combinations?
Products and services. Oftentimes, because I've been around so long here in Port Huron all my life, they'll call me about car insurance or homeowners.
Okay.
But I don't do that.
Okay.
I specialize in health insurance and related products. So that contribute to that. But basically, people who obtain medical insurance, there's 2 subjects involved. There's what happens, who pays the bills if I get hurt, and who pays the bills if I get sick. Now, preventative care by law is paid for, whether it's a mammogram today, colonoscopy at certain ages, routine physicals and x-rays and lab work and gynecological examinations, pap smear. They're taken care of. Now, the only thing left to talk about is 2 subjects, hurt or sick. And we can fill those products' needs with ancillary type products. critical illness, as I mentioned before prior to the break, and personal accident. But in my business, what people like is that we try to think outside the box and see the unintended consequences of a serious illness or injury. Oftentimes, it leads to no income. Because in a lot of employee situations, employer-employee situations, the rules are as follows, Jim. No workee, no payee.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
it. So they can find oftentimes in my office that they can afford very affordable disability income policies that match right with the other type of work we're doing. So if they're really sick or hurt, we can continue their income. And in fact, upon early death, due to the sickness or the injury, people die. And they can obtain very inexpensive life insurances. For instance, in my office, you can even see on my website and quote off of it. For life insurance, you can quote life insurance packages that, for instance, a 20-year term. People don't know. I just did it the other day. A gentleman came in, and he had 5 children, and he bought $1 million of life insurance. And I said, "You don't have life insurance?" He said, "No, geez, I don't have life insurance." And I said, "Well, why not?" He said, I got all these kids, and I did the work with the critical illness and personal accident. And I got them the Affordable Care Act policies through the marketplace." And I said, "Well, let's take a look." I went to my website. We typed in his date of birth and so forth. He was 35 or 36. Anyway, I said, "I think it's about 20-year term insurance policy for $1 million, just to give you an earmark. It's about $50 a month." I said, "You know what? I'm sorry. It's $40. $40 and change."
Yeah.
And he went, and his wife is just, wow. And she thanked me so much because with 5 kids, and they're depending on him totally. He's the goose that lays the golden egg. He's pulling the wagon. If he goes down, the whole thing goes down. And if he's disabled, same thing. So putting the different policies together really creates a security package for the family or a business person in the community. And that's the type of work I do, and that's the benefit of the result of the work I do, is that people remain stable financially when a crisis hits them medically. That's the purpose.
I always ask my guests what's their passion for their work, but I'm not going to ask you that because you just shared that in the last 15 minutes or so, and we appreciate that. Because again, people want to know and they want to trust somebody, and
Sure.
if they don't trust Grant Smith, I guess they're probably not going to trust anybody,
Well, thanks,
right?
Jim.
So, yeah, hey.
But you know, the nice feeling about it is I've been here all my life, and like you have, and we know people very deeply
Sure.
in all levels from decades, and it's rewarding to see that the things you did 10, 20, 30 plus years ago are coming back because of the thousands of people I've been sold insurance to, and of course it's confidential.
Sure.
I don't tell about somebody's business, but hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of life insurance. It kept kids in college. It paid off mortgages, kept the widow going financially with an income, or the person became suddenly had stroked out, as an example, and couldn't work anymore. And you supply that money, and it's rewarding. And you tell about people that appreciate it. It's like it's a miracle. And it's as a result of good insurance work being done to them prior to something happening. Very key. You have to have it in force.
Sure. Grant Smith, local independent health insurance agent. We appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming in, taking time
Thanks,
on a Saturday.
Jim. Thanks
and
for asking me.
Yeah, you stay healthy.
Oh, yes.
And
No
we have
problem.
authorized here at the network that you can take an all-expense-paid trip to the Bahamas.
Well, thank
But
you.
hurry back. Well, stay with me for just a second as we
Okay.
kind of wrap up our Saturday show. And we appreciate Grant coming in for this extended weekend edition of Newsmakers. Check out Grant Smith's website. He keeps it up to date with information for you, your family, and more importantly, pass the word on to your friends in the Blue Water area. Grant Smith, great friend, knows what he's doing. Next week on Newsmakers, it's going to be all about Port Huron Township. Join us then. We thank everybody that's a part of the Blue Water Television Network. We'll see you Monday on Newsmakers. Have a great weekend.